Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Basics. So finding your way on the mat, sitting either in a cross-leg position, sitting up on some blankets or your block, or sitting with the legs extended if that's a little more comfortable for you. And then we'll take a few minutes just to prepare the body by taking a moment to relax. So we'll start by turning the attention inward and just shutting out the busyness and chaos of the day. And then taking 2 deep cleansing breaths. So take a nice big inhale through the nose and exhale it all out by blowing or sighing it out. And one more nice big inhale. And to exhale it all out. And then soften the muscles of the face. Relax the muscles of the neck and the shoulders. And then turning the attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And then we'll begin a nice even breathing. Inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just continue with this nice, even breathing. If at any time it makes you lightheaded or dizzy, just go back to your own normal breathing pattern. And then we also set an intention for each practice to help remind us why we are here. So that may be a benefit you would like to receive, or just an uplifting or a positive thought or a phrase. So think of an intention that you'd like to have for your practice today. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. And before we begin our warm-up, if you would like to switch your legs, if you did have them crossed, go ahead and do that. And then sitting up nice and tall, we'll start by turning our heads to look out over that right shoulder. And coming back to center and turning to look out over the left. And back to center. Dropping the chin to the chest. And then picking the chin up towards the ceiling and jutting that lower jaw out. And coming back to center. And then we're going to kind of add a little something to our dropping our ear to the shoulder. So when you drop the right ear to the right shoulder, I want you to pick that shoulder up to meet your ear. And then pull the shoulder down and drop your head the opposite direction, so over to the left. And then come back to the right, pick your shoulder up to meet your ear, and then pull that shoulder down as you drop your head over to the left. And once more, pulling that shoulder up and dropping the head to the left. Good. And then come back to center and we'll try the same thing on the other side. So as you drop your head to the left, pull that left shoulder up to meet the ear and then drop your head to the right. And again, to the left and to the right. Don't go too fast or you'll make yourself dizzy. And then to the left and drop that head to the right. Good. And then bring the head back to center. Extend the hands out in front, open and close the fingers. And then some wrist circles. And reverse. Good. Bring the hands down to the lap. And then we're going to do some different shoulder warm-ups. So we're going to start by extending the hands or the elbows out to the side, touching the fingertips. And then keeping the torso still, just lift and lower those elbows. Good. And then bring those hands back to your lap. And then we'll do our shoulder rolls. So picking the shoulders up, rolling them to the back. And then bringing the shoulders back to neutral. So we're going to start with the right side of the head. So I want you to focus on the back of the head, the back of the right side of the head. And I want you to tip your head back, similar to what we did with the neck just now. Pick the right shoulder up to meet the back of the head. And then pull the scapula, or that shoulder down, and then drop your head over to the left. So you're kind of on that diagonal as you're dropping it. And then come back, so drop the back of the right side of the head to the shoulder. And then as you pull that shoulder down, drop your head down to the left. And try it once more. Good, and drop. And then come back to center. So as we do it on the other side, make sure you're picking your shoulder up like this to, meet the back of the head, because we're actually working those muscles in the top of the shoulder. We're working the scapula. All right, let's try it on this side. So drop the head back on the left side, pick your shoulder up to meet it, and then pull that shoulder down as you drop your head over to the right. And then try it again. And down. And again. Good. And down. Good. And then coming back to center. So this next one, we'll start on the right side. You're going to push the right shoulder forward and then turn and look to the right and kind of behind the shoulder. And then bring the shoulder back to neutral. Try it on the other side. Push the left shoulder forward, turn, and look as if you're looking behind the shoulder. Good. And back to center. Try to get on the right. Good. Back to center and left. and back to center. Once more each side. Pull the right shoulder forward, look right. Back to center. Left shoulder forward, look left. Good. And back to center. And then the last thing we're going to do is a little seated back bend. Again, working the upper back. So you're going to bring your hands around behind you. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm talking about. So extend your hands a little bit behind you. You can either do it on your flat hands or just your fingertips. So your fingers are pointing away from you. And then inhale to lengthen and exhale, looking up towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale, go ahead and come back to center. Good. We really warmed up that scapula, moving it in all 6 directions. All right. Taking the right hand now, bringing it to the outside of that right hip. Inhale, left arm up. And to exhale, bending to the right. And coming back to center, switch hands. Inhale, right arm up. And to exhale, bend to the left. Good. Inhale back to center, release. Then taking the left hand, placing it on the right knee. Inhale to lengthen and to exhale. Turning and looking to the right, bringing that right hand around behind you. And then exhale, coming back to center, switch hands. Inhale and to exhale, turn and look to the left. Good. Inhale back to center, and then extending the legs if you had them crossed, shaking them out a little bit. And then taking your hands, placing them behind the right thigh as we warm up the knee and the quadricep from the front of the thigh, just bending and extending the leg. And then the next time you pull that leg in towards you, hold it there so you can point and flex the foot. And then some ankle circles. And reverse. Good. Place that right leg down, same thing on the left, bending and extending. And then the next time you pull that knee in, hold it there, point and flex. And some circles. And reverse your circle. Good. And then we'll come on to hands and knees for cat-cow. And you can use your blanket to give a little padding to those knees and shins. And then as you come into hands and knees, stack the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And then with an inhale, lift the chest and the sits bones, arching the spine for cow. And with the exhale, pressing into the hands to round the spine, tucking the chin into the chest for cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale into cat. And once more, rolling into cow, rounding into cat. Good, and then bringing the spine back to neutral and sending the hips back to the heels for child's pose. Supporting the head by stacking the fists or the block. And just take a few breaths here. and then extending the arms out in front of you, coming back to hands and knees, and then we'll come into downward facing dog. So your options are to stay here, extend the arms, coming into puppy pose, or pressing into the base of the index finger and thumb, curling the toes, lifting the hips, and then pressing into those hands as you extend through the shoulders and the upper back, coming into downward facing dog. Keep a bend in the knees so that you can extend through the back and the shoulders, and then you can begin to straighten the legs. Early on like this, I usually just walk the dog, kind of warm up those hamstrings. And then with your next exhale, go ahead and bring those knees down. And then from here, we're going to come up to standing. So if you want to shift the weight, bring a foot forward, place the hands on the thighs, and then come on up. Go ahead and put your blanket to the side. All right, so we're going to come into Tadasana or mountain pose, and then we're going to come into a hamstring stretch using the chair and our strap. Now, if you have a little piece of wall nearby, I'm going to show you how to use the wall, and then otherwise I'll show you how to do it just on the mat. I'm going to start at the wall. If you don't have the wall, just bring your chair to the top of the mat so that you're facing the chair, okay? If you do have a wall nearby, then start with your back on the wall and just put the chair in front of you. So you can practice mountain pose at the wall if you have it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You want to walk your feet so that your heels are maybe about an inch or so in front of the wall. And then you want to bring your hips to the wall. Try to get the shoulders and the upper back on the wall. And then the back of the head. So that might be difficult if you have been rounding forward a lot. This is a great way to try to open up that chest. Now, you may find that you're overarching that low back, so keep those abs tight. Again, if you don't have a wall nearby, then you're just doing this standing on the mat, just like we've done it before. Good. And try not to tip your head back. This is going to be hard. And you may just have to practice this. You may not be able to do it today, but just keep at it a little bit every day, pulling that head back, working those neck muscles, and come back to that nice, even breathing. Good. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do this next one. It's called hand to toe pose. We have done it before. I did it on the mat, but I thought I would show it to you using the wall. It's a little easier with the wall. You have more stability. So I'll show you both ways. So you'll want to grab, if you have a block, grab your block, put it on the seat of your chair, and grab your strap. And then you may have to play around with the how far away the chair is from you. Do this. So if you're on your mat, you're just standing on the mat with the chair facing you. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift the weight to one leg, and you're basically going to put your leg on the chair. So now you can determine how far away the chair is or needs to be. There are different options depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings. So I'm going to show you a couple of them. The first one, obviously, would be to not have anything on the chair. And then to just bring your leg here. Excuse me. Bringing the strap around the ball of the foot, standing and holding here, extending. Your second option is then to start raising that leg up. You can put a block here, put the heel on that. You could do 2 blocks. The last one would be to put a blanket over the back of the chair, and then you're going to bring the chair in towards you a little bit because the back will be slanted away from you. Let's see if that's about right. And then putting your heel on the back of the chair. Now here's where the wall is going to come in really handy. This would be tough for me to stand here away from the wall. All right, so we're going to start with the right leg. So pick whichever option is best for you. So you can see me, I'm just going to use the one block. So adjust your chair, shift the weight over to the left leg, bring that right foot up on the chair so that the heel's on the chair, your knees and toes are pointing up. Take your strap. And what this strap is going to do, when you place it on the ball of the foot, extend the arms, this is going to give you that support so that you can stand up nice and straight. So you're coming back into mountain pose here, pulling those shoulders down. Good, and continue to breathe. Good, and then exhale, go ahead and remove your strap. Let's try it on the other side. So get your balance, shift the weight over to the right. And then lifting that left leg. Again, the heel is what's on the chair. You can also put the blanket on the chair if you have a hard surface that bothers your heel. You could put the blanket on there too. Good. And like I said, you could even do a second block if your hamstrings are more flexible. And then placing the strap around that ball of the foot, standing up nice and tall. And just come back to your nice, even breathing. So I've got my hips and most of my back. I guess I should put my head too. Good. And then go ahead and release your strap and release your leg. If you were up against the wall, go ahead and come back to your mat. We're going to come into Stork Pose. If you want to use the chair for support, then go ahead and bring the chair over. I'm going to leave the chair there, but the chair is always there if you need it for support. All right, so to come into Stork, remember that's standing on the one leg. I'm going to back up a little bit here. We'll start by shifting the weight over to the left leg. Find those 4 corners of the feet. Spread those toes. Good. Now, you're going to bend the right knee, but the knee stays forward. Your options are to keep your toes on the floor or pick the knee up so that it's in line with your hips. Now, just like in tree, bring the hands to prayer. Get your balance here. Find your gazing point. If you're okay, then extending those arms up. Keep the abs tight. Continue to breathe. then with the exhale, bring those arms down, release the right leg, walk it out. So if you needed the chair, just keep the chair alongside, keep a hand on the chair. Or the wall, if you're still near the wall, keep your hand on the wall. Okay, let's try it on the other side. Shift the weight over to the right leg. Bend that left knee again. You can just keep your toes on the floor. That's fine. Get your balance. See if you can pick that leg up. And then extending the arms. Continue to breathe. Good, and then with the exhale, go ahead and bring those arms down, walk it out. And then coming back to your mat, we're going to come into a high lunge, but we're going to put a twist in it. So standing up at the top of the mat or to the short end of the mat, starting again in Tadasana. And then we'll shift the weight over to the left leg, bend the right knee, and then you're going to step that right foot back. Now remember, in a lunge, it's a pretty wide stance because you're on the ball of the right foot. At the same time, you're bending that left knee, stacking it right over the ankle. So the right leg is almost straight. You have a little micro bend in that knee. You want to bring the torso up. If this is difficult, then turn the chair around so you can keep a hand on the chair. Once you have your torso up, either keep a hand on the chair and just bring one arm up or both arms. Good. Now tighten the front of that right quadricep. Keep breathing. All right, so here's our twist. You're going to keep the left arm up. No, I'm sorry, it's the opposite. Keep the right arm up. Exhale the left arm down and see if you can bring it around to the back of the right thigh as you turn and look to the left. It's definitely a balance challenge here. Good, and then release, bring that arm back up. Exhale, bring the arms down. And then inhale as you step that leg forward. All right, let's try it on the other side. Shift the weight over to the right leg. Bend the left knee. Now again, as you step that left foot back, you're going to be on the ball of the foot. So it's a much wider stance than like Warrior One. You're going to bend the right knee, stack it over the ankle, hips stay facing forward. Good, and then inhale, bring those arms up. Good, tighten that left quad. You've got a little micro bend in that left knee so that you don't hyperextend the knee. All right, here we go. Left arm stays up. As you exhale, begin to turn a little bit to the right. And if you can, bring that right hand around to the back of the left thigh. Good, and then exhale back to center. Release those arms down. Inhale as you step that leg forward and walk it out. All right, let's go ahead and come back down to the mat. So coming back down, we're going to come down on our backs. So coming onto hands and knees, sweeping the lower legs to the side, bringing the hips down, extending the legs out, and then rolling onto your side and lowering yourself down. And as you come onto your back, go ahead and bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. And we're going to do a little core work here. So we're going to keep the left knee bent, and we're going to extend the right leg up so your foot is up towards the ceiling. And then bringing the hands alongside the body just to help stabilize the pelvis. I want you to point your right toes and start to make little circles, like your big toe is a crayon, and you're drawing a circle, not a big circle, a little circle. And then you can start to make that circle a little bit bigger. And the whole time, I want you to keep your pelvis neutral. So try not to rock back and forth. Keep those abs tight. Now reverse your circle. Start off kind of big, maybe, I don't know, softball size. And then make it a little bit smaller, baseball size. Good. And then bend that knee. Bring that foot back down to the mat, rest it out, and we'll try it on the left. So before we lift, I want you to tighten those abdominals. This is mainly working those lower abs. You can even, if you want to, rest your hands here on the lower abdominals, and you can feel them working here. If not, just keep your hands alongside the body. So same thing on the left side. We'll just start making some circles. And then make your circle a little bit bigger, but without rocking the pelvis. And then reverse. And smaller circles. Good. And then relax it out. Just completely let go for a moment. And then rolling onto your right side and using your left hand to push you up. We'll come back up to a seated position. We're going to come into reverse tabletop. So we first practiced this a couple of weeks ago. So how we're going to come into the pose is you want to walk your feet a little bit past your knees. Now, your hands, normally we put our hands about a foot, maybe a foot and a half behind us, with our fingers facing forward. Now that has quite a bit of wrist flexion there. If that bothers your wrists, try putting your hands about that distance behind you, but turning your fingers to the side. So try that. If this bothers your hands or your shoulders, because then you're internally rotating the shoulders. All right, so remember with an inhale, you're going to begin to lift the chest and then pressing into those hands and your feet. See if you can just lift those hips up a little bit. Good, and then rest it out. So see how those wrists feel. If it's too much, shake them out a little bit. Then try turning the fingers out to the side. All right, let's try it again. So bringing the hands about a foot behind you. Well, that's a good, maybe not a foot, maybe about 8 inches or so. All right, here we go. With the inhale, begin to lift the chest and then lifting the hips. If you can, see if you can lift them a little higher. Take a break when you need to. Continue to breathe. Good, and then exhale. Bring those hips down. Just cross the legs as you shake out the wrists, massage them a little bit. This is a great pose for building strength in the wrists. It is one of the new yoga for osteoporosis poses to help stimulate the bones. Also, you can see why you're putting a lot of tension on those wrist bones. All right, we're going to come back down on our backs. You'll want to have your strap handy, and we'll come into legs up the wall. So you'll also want a block or the bolster. Or you could even roll your blanket if you don't have either of those too. So just make sure those are nearby, plus anything else that you would need for Savasana. All right, so rolling onto your side, lowering yourself back down to the mat. So first of all, we're going to come into a twist. So extending the arms out to the side about shoulder height, palms facing up. And then pressing into your feet, shift your hips over to the right, just about an inch or two. And then picking the feet up off the mat, stacking the knees over the hips, and dropping the knees to the left. Now you want to try to get that right shoulder as close to the mat as you can. So press into the back of the left hand. That will help get that scapula down towards the mat. If you can, turn and look out over that right shoulder. And breathe. And then inhale back to center, place your feet down, shift the hips back to neutral, and then over to the left as you pick your feet up, keeping the knees in line with the hips, and then dropping them now to the right as you turn and look to the left. And then inhale back to center, place your feet on the mat, move the hips back to center, and we're going to do that again. I'm going to give you an option to do what we just did, so keeping the knees stacked over one another, or coming into just a different variation of the twist. This time, take the right knee, right thigh, and cross it over the left thigh. And then same thing, picking those hips up, shifting them to the left, pick the legs up. This time, drop the knees to the left, either with the legs crossed or just having the knees stacked, one on the other. This just deepens that stretch in here, in the glute, in that right hip. Good. And turning to look to the right. Good, and then coming back to center, bring that left foot down, switch legs. Again, up to you. You still want to shift the hips over to the left, pick the feet up, dropping the knees. Again, you don't have to cross on the thighs. You can just stack the knees. Turning and looking left. Good, and then inhale, bring those legs back to center, shift the hips back to neutral, and then just extend the legs out. And then bring those arms overhead, clasp your hands and press the palms away from you as you reach through your heels. Just a nice deep stretch. And then release your arms down. Grab your strap. And we did our hamstring stretch standing, our hand to toe. Now we're going to do it laying on our back. So see if you notice a difference with your flexibility in your hamstrings a little bit. So keeping the left leg extended. If you have a low back issue, then bend that knee. Keep the knee bent. Bending the right knee, bringing it in towards you, placing the strap across the ball of the foot. And then extending the leg, walking the arms up the straps, pulling the shoulders down the back, and then pressing that right thigh away from you as you extend the leg. Pressing through that left heel if you have your legs straight. And breathe. Good, and then go ahead and bend that right knee, release the strap on the right side, and we'll try it on the left. Bring that left knee in. So as you extend the leg, just let the strap go with it, and then you can walk your hands up so your arms are straight. Pull the shoulders down the back, press the thigh away from you. Good, press into that right heel. And breathe. Good, and then bend that left knee, remove your strap. Go ahead and put your strap to the side. And then bending the knees again. Your feet are flat on the mat. Just walk your feet out to the side so you feel the edges of your mat. So your knees are wide. And we're going to come into our windshield wiper. So just bringing the arms out so that your elbows are shoulder height, rotating the hands back so the back of the hands are on the floor, what we call goddess arms or goalpost arms. And then drop the right knee down to the left. And then come back to center, drop the left knee down to the right. And then back to center. So just for a couple of moments, I'm going to let you work at your own pace here. Just a nice, easy movement. Dropping one knee and then the other. Just working through the hips. Good. Do it once more each side. Good. And then coming back to center, go ahead and walk your feet together. And then grabbing either your block, if you do have a bolster, yoga bolster, which I happen to have right here, or even rolling your blanket up, just something to support your sacrum. We're going to come into a modified legs up the wall. So sitting here in this pre-bridge position, we're going to press into our feet. You want to lift your hips, take your block or bolster. You want to slide it right underneath the sacrum, that flat part of the spine. And then bending the knees, bringing them again over the hips, and then extending the legs. So you may have to, I don't know, the block tends to kind of dig into my low back. So you may have to come down and adjust your block a little bit. But once you have your legs up, you should feel like you really are not using a lot of leg muscle to keep the legs up because you've got your hips resting on that block or bolster. And then we'll just take a few moments here to relax. So we're letting gravity do its work here by sending that blood that pools in the lower extremities back to the heart. Letting it become enriched with that oxygen. This is a great pose to do at the wall. The next time we do it, I'll go over to the wall and show you how to get up on the wall and do it. It's a nice posture to do before bed. And helps to relax the body. So just continue to breathe, just a nice, easy breath. So we'll be here probably about another 30 seconds or so. You can also do this on a chair, so you would keep your hips flat on the mat and then just bend your legs at 90 degrees and rest the lower leg on a chair. So lots of options. All right, to come out of the pose, you're going to bend your knees. Now, to not overarch the low back, just drop one foot down first and then the other, and then lifting into bridge and removing your block or bolster. And then I'm going to come up to my seated position. You all stay on the mat coming into Savasana. So whatever you need to help make you more comfortable. Extending the legs out in front of you, bringing the arms alongside the body, again rotating the palms up towards the ceiling. And then go ahead and close the eyes. And turn the attention inward. Again, notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And after your next inhale, begin to lengthen the exhale. Then continue to lengthen each exhale until they become about twice as long as the inhale. Just continue with this nice, deep breathing. Feel the body relax as you slow the breath. focus on the physical body. Relax all the muscles from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Release any tension or tightness. And then focus on the mind. Release any thoughts, worries, or anxieties. Imagine yourself laying in a field of flowers, gazing up at a brilliant blue sky, and all your cares and worries are just hanging on a big white puffy cloud. And just focus on that cloud as you watch it float on by. Giving yourself just a few moments to completely let go. Begin to deepen your breath. And then start moving your fingers and toes. And then the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, bending both knees and rolling onto your right side in a fetal position, and taking a few breaths here. And then using your left hand to support you, pushing yourself back up into your seated position, and keeping the body relaxed and the eyes closed for another moment. Focus on the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And then taking one more deep cleansing breath, So take a nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Namaste.